Yo, no maniacs. Welcome to the show. This is Nomad Live, all Bears all the time, in conjunction with Sports Zone Chicago and the SuperBack. Shawn Sierra, man. We've got a bunch of crap to talk about, along with some good football stuff to talk about. It's a lot going on right now, but as you can see on the thumbnail, and by the way, shout out to my guy, C Sharp, the resident technical genius, man. He had to be like, when Nomad calls me this time of the day, after he said he was going to leave me alone for the rest of the damn day, okay, what's he got on his mind? Like, Nomad, how you doing, man? What's going on? All right, Chris, I got this concept. All right, man, what your crazy ass thinking about right now? And so I told him the concept, and the concept is like a cyborg theme with a UFO kind of feel to it. And the question ended up being, you saw on the thumbnail, has Chicago ever seen anything like this? And my answer to that goes all kinds of different places, man, because, I'm not as steeped in Bears history as I am in the X's and O's. Give me anybody you think knows that's X's and O's, put them in front of me. We can have a hell of a conversation. But Bears history, I'm just not that steeped in it. And I knew that this was going to be a great show for C Sharp and people like Brian and maybe even my man over there, Sean. I don't know. I don't know how well people are steeped in the history of the Chicago Bears organization to carry on this conversation. But I've got a list of teams ranked, and I'm talking about from 7 all the way down to the number 1 offenses in Bears history. And I think you guys will find pretty interesting. By the way, you can find that. I was looking all over the place for stuff, and I found it at Sports Mockery. And so check out Sports Mockery, and you can see the list of teams from number 7 all the way down to number 1. But I got some detailed information for you guys about those teams and what made them run well. I mean, the first team that comes to my mind is the one that's Jay Cutler, and I can't remember exactly what year it was, but there's a team that he was on that really, in my lifetime, that it's the only team that I thought was really, really seriously threatening offensively. But we'll talk about all of that stuff in detail. But again, welcome to the show, you guys. We're going to talk about some football stuff here in just a second, but let's just give out some pleasantries before we get cut. Go ahead, Sean.
Well, sports owners and no maniacs, unite. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, listen, guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm excited to talk. Make sure you follow Sports Zone Chicago's YouTube page, along with the Nomad Network's YouTube page. We're doing a lot of cool stuff. I'm excited to talk about it. And yeah, man, there's been quite I can't wait to talk about today's topic. And this is pretty monumental. It's pretty monumental when you're talking about the talent that we have across the board on the offense. We've seen. I won't go with it, but I'm excited to talk about it. Next up, we're going to C Sharp. C Sharp, we're going to the Bishop. What are we doing? Talk to me.
Tell everybody, good afternoon. It's good to see you. And yeah, when Nomad calls you and he's talking about cyborgs, stay off the LSD, bro.
Lakeshore Drive?
You want cyborgs? Homeboy loves all things outer space, but this stuff is fun and it challenges brother creatively. So I appreciate you. This is going to be exciting, man. Look at what's coming forward. We hope all the guys stay healthy. I look for big things from this offense, man. So good to see everybody in the chat. Good to see my brothers on the panel. Bishop, preach to me, brother.
Good afternoon, everybody. How you guys doing out there? No maniacs and sports zoners. What a day today. Well, first, let me start the day out with my pleasantries. First and foremost, I got a phone call yesterday evening that kind of devastated me. And I want to say rest in peace to big-time Bears fan by the name of JR, better known as Jeffrey Reynolds. Big house head out there in Chicagoland area, going all the way back to the late 70s, early 80s. With that being said, now let me pick it up. To my faithfuls, Stuart and Sophie out there in Florida, my boy V-Dub and the D out there on that truck. Be safe, my brother. To my favorite girl, Rita, and my sister, Felicia. I appreciate you each and every day for just checking in and listening to the show. Chicago, Chi-Town, West Side, South Side, stand up. Hey, let's talk Bears football today. Nomad, what you got to say, my brother?
Well, we didn't get my guy Kedz and
Oh, he popped in. There you go. What's up, Canuck? What's up,
yeah,
baby?
you guys
Kedz
have
in the
to know this.
building.
We got joined by one of our favorite all 22 guys, just all around good guy. My guy Bearlissimo is joining us today. He wants
From
to talk
across
some
the
Bears.
pond.
He wants
I'm
to talk
just
some
glad.
Bears.
I'm just glad Bearlissimo jumped in while my computer pooped the bed temporarily. In any event, I'm trying out some new system techniques, so bear with me for the afternoon.
Pun
No
intended.
maniacs, bear with me. Doing a little bit of funkier video stuff, and so far super funky. In any event, glad to have you all with us. Glad to have our guy Bearlissimo with us. This should be one heck of a show. I'll keep it short and simple. Bear down, let's go. Nomad.
Well, let's let Bearlissimo give some shout outs and some pleasantries right quick. He just joined us. What you got, Bear?
Right on.
Oh, not much in the way of shouts out, Keith. I'm so sorry for your family's loss, and I wish them the grace and ability to find solace at some point. The weight of a person's gravity is only ever felt in their loss. So I know you're all probably going through a very tough time. So my thoughts are with you that you find
Thank you,
solace
brother.
in that as soon as possible. I don't know if you can see on the name that I put up for myself there. I've been looking at the two Austins that we've got, Austin Powers that the Bears have got, and we've got our offense is going to go as the offensive line goes, I think, and I think people are underestimating what the defense is going to look like. Everyone talks about we need to get the pass rusher and we need to get the D line sorted. Our D line's pretty good, guys, especially once we've got Montez Sweat. We will go as Montez goes if he stays healthy, and that's the crucial part for me. We don't have the depth, so whilst he's still available and he's still there and we're able to spell him, defense I think will go well. But yeah, there's been some. I think it's an interesting comparison to some teams of older, so I'll let you get on with that.
All right, man. Hey, good vibes to you and your family, Keith, man. Sorry to hear that kind of stuff, man. It's just in fact,
Appreciate it, man.
my girlfriend had a bad day yesterday at work. She's got I think I might have told Shawn about this, or Chris at least. They had a 103-year-old lady that she works with the elderly dementia patients at her job, and she was a huge personality, man. She was up there in age, 103 years old, lived a long life, and she passed away yesterday, I think, and it really didn't set in on her yesterday after it happened, but I guess the day before that, but yesterday while she was at work, she was struggling with it. A lot of people there. She's been there for a long time. A lot of people struggled with it, man. So it's just a lot going on, and people losing folks, man. It's just a rough time, man. So good vibes to you and your family, Keith, man. But hey,
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Let's talk about some football. I'm about to put
let's do that.
in the chat a name and shout out to Jay Capone, the Don. He put it in there early, beat me to it. But here's a name.
Damn you, Jay Capone.
This name here is a guy that just showed up. So I was looking for people who had updated Bears information as far as the comings and goings. This was a year or so ago. Keep people that keep up with the comings and goings of the UDFAs and Bears players. And Greg Gabriel referred me to Aaron Lemming. So if anybody wants to follow Aaron Lemming on Twitter, probably a good idea. He keeps up with the comings and goings of the UDFAs, keeps it up to date. He's got a pinned list of guys on his page. And so there's a guy on there by the name of Cam Stuts. If you see that name in the chat, it's Cam Stuts, offensive guard from Auburn, 6'5", 343. I mean, a people mover. I just got a hold of the name probably 30 minutes before the show and turned on some tape. I think it was Auburn against Texas A&M. Man, this guy's a people mover. Now, the information I found on him is kind of conflicting because it says that he's coming here for a tryout. And so 3 days ago, it appears that the Baltimore Ravens, he accepted a camp invite. And so I don't know quite how that works. I don't know the politics of how that plays out. Can you give a guy a tryout and sign him before the Ravens even get him into their camp? Can you do that? I don't know, Shawn. So This guy right here is pretty impressive to look at. I mean, he's huge. I mean, when I say huge and a people mover, he gets people out of the way. They do good yardage behind this guy, man. So it's a name that I want people to pay close attention to and see what happens with this guy. But Cam Stuts, offensive guard from Auburn, man. It's a name you guys ought to know for now at least. But anything you want to say to that, Shawn?
Yeah, you could. If he's coming in for a visit, you could. I mean, you don't have to let him leave the building. So even if other teams are interested, you got him in the building. The majority of his attention, along with his agent's attention, is going to be with the team that he's actually visiting. So if he's in a building, like Kedz is always in the building. So if he's in the building, you gotta you like him, don't let him leave. Literally, don't let him leave. All right. What do you need, Papa? What do you need? All right, we'll give you a 1-year deal with incentives, playing time. You know what I mean? There'll be a lot of different things if you think this guy's going to be a valuable asset to your squad, especially if you look at the tape and you really like him. Man, you can say you're hedging your bets that Tevin Jenkins doesn't finish the whole season, or he's going to be out for whatever, or Nate Davis may get injured, and now you have somebody else who's literally a bulldozer. Okay, because that's literally what Tevin Jenkins is. He's a bulldozer. Anyone who gets in his way, he moves you out of his way with prejudice.
That's a good way to put it.
Extreme prejudice.
That's a good way to put it.
Extreme prejudice.
And you get another dude like that, and
Shawn, are you sure though? Is that some kind of contractually agreement when you sign an offer sheet to come participate in someone's camp? I don't know. Please.
Well, if you come participate in camp, yeah, it's a tryout. So you're not gonna look at other offers because or go visit any other players because you got a job in camp. Now, if someone gives you a contract, well, it's going to be tough if someone else will give you a contract when you're visiting someone else because you and your agent are focused on that particular team. So if he's in the building and they like him, he won't leave.
I just guarantee you guys, as soon as you turn on, I know it's probably people in the chat already turning on the video, seeing what they can find out about him while we're doing the show. I'm telling you, you're going to be impressed. Guy's big. He can move. He's just a human being mover, man. This guy, I just, in probably about 10 minutes of watching him on tape, I'm just like, whoa. They actually got this guy after the draft. But it goes to show you, Shawn and Kedz and Bishop, how much talent you can find out there post-draft. Anybody that thinks it's only 250 something really good football players on the planet is smoking something. So after the draft, the market is very valuable, man. But right now I'm very intrigued by this signing by them. And if they can get him in the building, get him tried out, worked out, man, I get him in the building. Go ahead, Kedz.
I like the energy from the SuperBack today. The SuperBack's he's fired up today. It's great. I'm just messing around. In any event, I'm taking a look at Cam Stuts. Cam Stuts looks mean, y'all.
Looks like he'd be Tevin Jenkins' brother, bro.
He could be.
By the way, Squeegee, he's offensive guard, right guard on Auburn.
Yeah, he has that Tevin Jenkins about him. I see what you mean. But yeah, I wouldn't want to, I wouldn't want to be trying to get past this guy. This is a big lad.
Go ahead, Bishop. Anybody want to speak to that? You can.
I'm gonna have to, now that you threw that name at me, I'm gonna have to definitely check out some film on the young man, man. If you say he is what he is, brother, then if he get in the building, they can't let him go. We need the depth. It's just that simple. And I before Bellismo popped out, I agree with him. This offense will go as far as this offensive line goes, man. If they can stay healthy and establish that run, and if this young man can contribute to that in any kind of way, that'll be great. So I'm excited to check it out.
But you know what it is too, Keith, Kedz? Like there's a nastiness that's being built and brought in this offensive line. All right, it started with Tevin Jenkins. Dude, I love the fact that they had to tell Tevin Jenkins, look, dude, you can't put the guy in row 3. All right. Sideline, yes. Row 3, no. Okay. Just dial it back a little bit. Okay. Sideline, yes. Row 3, no. Okay. People pay good money for that shit. This ain't the NBA where they want people flying in their seats. And then you added Darnell Wright last year. Another dude who likes to just literally, I mean, he will put you through the turf. I love it. Then you bring this guy in. This is the type of attitude that you need. This is the type of attitude as an offense. And I'm running back's point of view. I love playing and running behind guys like that. All right. I loved it because they would talk shit so bad. And like, we're coming right here. Stop it. We're coming right here. You're mine all day. And the psychological mind blow that does to a defense when you walk up and you like, you're mine all day, and you do that, Kim yours, man, that third quarter, fourth quarter, you see the look of his eyes, you see the look in his eyes, and he's defeated. And that nastiness is something that you just can't quantify how important that is. You can't, as far as just actual play, but also psychologically for that team, but also other teams who scout, because you can see that nastiness on film. You can see that nastiness on film because the defensive line be like, all right, watch these guys. These guys are road graders. These guys are this. And all of a sudden that puts stuff into mind. So Ryan Poles, former offensive lineman, is bringing guys in with that mentality.
You know what, Shawn?
I like
real,
it a
real
lot.
quick before you guys go, let me answer something. Illinois Jones had a quick question. I apologize, fellas. He wants to know, is Illy Jones, shout out to Illy, is he a better run blocker or pass pro? ? Do you have a RAS? I just got a hold of the information probably 30 minutes before we went live, Illy. I wish I had more information on him. I do not. We're going to try to run it down in the meantime before tomorrow's show. But all I can tell you is what I seen in about 10 minutes of video watching the O-line play, you're going to like when you start looking at him. I can just tell you that much. But my apologies, Bishop. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say to what Shawn was saying. Shawn, if you recall, maybe even a month ago, remember I was really emphasizing about us getting an identity. So
Bingo.
that we know exactly what we're going to be and who we want to project out there as to what this identity is going to be. If we're going to be smash mouth in your face, running it down your throat, punching you in the gut each and every single time, and mean and nasty, that's exactly what you want to project. You want those type of guys to be a part of the team and on that line. I love it, man, because if you know that you got some guys that are just mean and nasty to where you can easily establish the run to where now even your pass pro is nasty as well. Oh man, yeah. You like you said, it shows up on film to where now when teams are scouting you, you're already in their head before the game even starts.
It's an attitude, Keith. You know that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you a question. When you thought of the Baltimore Ravens with Ray Lewis, what did you think? Oh, snap. All right. That's his attitude. You know what to expect.
Right.
This is what Ryan Poles is doing. He's like, okay, bet. So we're going to get some nasty offensive linemen. Okay. So when people come up every week, when they scout us, they know what to expect. And I'm telling you, toughness plus on top of talent wins every time. Because a tough guy can beat a more talented guy if the talented guy doesn't have heart. All right. It's called having a puncher's chance. Okay. And when it's tough that's here. And that's what does Ryan Poles always talk about? I want to find guys who love football. I want to play guys and draft guys and sign guys and look for guys and bring guys in that love football. That's loving football. We'll see.
So Smitty, I think Smitty was a person that put this in there. He said he lives in SEC country and is familiar with the guy, Cam Stuts. He also says he's a leader in the locker room. He is a team captain. But, yeah, man, he's, I just turned on the film briefly, like I said, man, I was just like, ooh, hold on now. What we got here.
Hold on, player.
Yeah, I was like, oh, man, what's going on? What we got cooking here? But I like it. I mean, if we can if they get him in that building and they like what they see in the tryout, I can't imagine them not signing that guy. Unless there's some reason why, it's a guy on the roster that we have now that they're convicted about and they just want to give him a look and they don't want to, really, they have spent significant time on Ja'Tyre Carter. Very, very significant time on him, developing him and trying to get him to where he needs to be. But them bringing in another guy like that for a tryout, and if they're impressed with him enough, it's a chance that, Ja'Tyre Carter, who knows? I don't know how it's going to play out. So we just put this conversation on pause for now and see how this thing develops. If I were you guys, I'd be paying attention in the next 24 hours, 48 hours to see if they sign this guy or not. because I'm going to be paying close attention to it. But let's move on to the next subject, man. And I ain't gonna lie to you, fellas, man. This is getting on my damn nerves. This is the worst topic for me to talk about, man, because it's irritating to me. I don't have the patience for it. I just want to see whatever's going to happen. I just want to hit this topic in the face, wrestle it to the ground, and just choke it till it taps. I'm just ready for it to be over. But this whole conversation about this stadium is getting on my nerves, man. And so Governor Pritzker put out a statement through the Secretary of State saying that the stadium proposal is a non-starter. That's a quote, a non-starter. And it said in that quote that the Bears have not displayed demonstrable benefits for the taxpayers for them to consider this proposal at all. And so what everybody got excited about the lakefront property. I mean, the lakefront development, Shawn, and not having to go to Arlington. This is for people that live inside the city. Anybody that lives inside the city probably would say that, you know what, we need this team in the city. I have said for the longest time that I don't see the development space that I think this organization is going to need to build some of the things along with the stadium. I think the space is there for the stadium, but some of the other stuff and fixings as far as hotels and other attractions that you want to add alongside with the new stadium plan like that, I don't see the space to do it. And so I just been, when it comes to this subject, kind of walking around on eggshells, waiting for it to be over, but it just won't go anywhere. And I'm sick of it. But I'll let you guys talk about it from your standpoint and what you think of it, Shawn.
Yeah, I told you I didn't think it's going to get done. Everybody ooh and ahhing, but it's and I like it. I love the renderings. I love it. It definitely, the Friends of the Park don't have can't have an issue with because it hollows out the old Soldier Field or current Soldier Field, and it's all grass. The only thing left is the colonnades. So you add more acres of land for the public, which is what the Friends of the Park. What is their main purpose? What the main purpose is? It looks great, but they spent a lot of money. It was $190 million on that property in Arlington Heights. We've seen how cheap they can be. Okay, they're not going to just say, "Okay, the heck with this." They want that. I think it's a ploy. I think they're using the city of Chicago and Mayor Johnson as puppets to do their dirty work for them, so they can get that tax. They get their taxes reduced. That's what I feel it is. There's no parking over there. All right. I mean, I could see if you put it in the south lot and then made Soldier Field a parking lot. Okay, well, you just kind of switch spaces where the parking lot would be. But there's no parking lot. So now you're taking one of the bigger parking lots. First of all, there's not a lot of parking to begin with at Soldier Field. You got south, you got the Waldron, you got the south lot, you got the 31st Street lot. Pretty much is it. Okay. That's pretty much it. So then you're taking one parking lot away. So I feel it's a ploy just to get their taxes down, because I think they want to have that, And here's the thing: it'd be jointly owned. Why would you want it to be jointly owned? The whole purpose was for you to make more money when you sell this thing when she passes away, for her grandkids who haven't done a damn thing their whole lives and just collect money. That's the whole purpose of moving to Arlington Heights is building a stadium. The value of the franchise goes up. It'll be what, $6 million, $8 million, to sell the team. So it doesn't make sense. It's just a ploy. And then they're just talking about redistributing the tax burden. You're just refinancing the old tax that we have on Soldier Field and the spaceship we have, that we have now. So it's not. I really don't think it's happening. It'd be dope if it did, because that rendering is fire. But I don't see it happening.
Really quick before you go, Chris, I know you got a thing or two to say about this, but John Jackson III, receiver from USC, also invited for a tryout. And Smitty's wanting to know, is he going to be a camp body or contributor? I would, him being Caleb's teammate, I wouldn't rule him out.
And really good friend.
Yeah, really good. I wouldn't rule him out. You know what I mean? It would be, if he didn't have connections to Caleb, and let me put that back up there. John Jackson III, and that's a receiver from USC, by the way, you guys. Anybody that didn't know that, I would say no. He isn't very impressive on tape. It's not saying he's a good player, but not very impressive to look at, in my opinion. But him being Caleb's guy, you never know, man. You have to, when you bring a new quarterback in and put the franchise on his back. One thing, it's a couple of things that need to go alongside with it, is having people around him to help him feel comfortable. And so if John Jackson is a guy that helps him feel comfortable with the process he's going to have to go through as a rookie, who knows? Maybe he bumped somebody, Nasimba Webster or somebody for a roster spot. Who knows, man? But I have no idea what he's going to bring to the team, but it would not surprise me if he stuck around.
I have two words for you, bro. 2 words for you, and this will explain everything. Jack Haley.
What's that name? Where's that come from?
That's who he is, Jack Haley. You remember Dennis Rodman's buddy, the guy they kept that because he was Rodman's buddy. He kind of kept him in check, and he made that's who he is.
I didn't know he was buddies with Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, he was.
Jack Haley. Yep.
I never heard that, man.
Yeah.
That's all John Jackson. That's all John Jackson is going to be. Is Jack Haley? Is he's just he's Caleb's dude. Caleb's got a friendly face to go around. To hang with his boy. Then King Booker World knows Dennis Rodman handler. That's all he's going to be. If he signs, and he might be, they might take a 52-man spot or keep him on the practice squad, and he'll make $12,000 a month, $12,000 a week, and Chris, there you go.
Don't you dare follow through with that thought. He said, Shawn said Dennis Rodman handler. And Chris,
can't they
just give him an office job?
I'm not the only disturbed person here, so I have no comment on John Jackson Jr. I got a cousin named John Jackson Jr., so I got happy for a minute. It's not him though; he's alcoholic. So anyway, back to the Arlington Heights stadium, man. It's obviously that is a ploy. I think Arlington Heights is still the target. I mean, with $200 million or whatever they got invested in that, they can't just walk away from that. But I'm like you, Nomad. I'll just do something, man. I think the public in general is kind of losing their patience with it. And you're right, Shawn. The renderings of the lakefront stuff was pretty awesome, man. It was pretty awesome, but until something's set in stone, I'm just in a holding pattern, man. But I'm ready for him to go ahead and get it done too, because I think Kevin Warren's reputation rides on this. So he needs to get something set. Kedz.
Nomad, socks or stadium? Which is worse?
Oh man, I can handle a stadium.
Oh no, you can
handle a stadium.
Come on, kids.
I'm tired of us playing hockey on a football field. Get them MFers off them dudes, man. The socks is way more annoying.
So clearly socks. Clearly.
Way more.
Just checking out straight out of the chat. Patty Laura wanted to know. Smitty Q wanted to know. So there's that. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think anything's going to happen anytime soon. I think Chris is probably bang on. This is probably more posturing than anything else to get those taxes in Arlington Heights down. So it looks good, though, don't it? We'll leave it there. I don't know where you park, and I think that's actually the kicker in all of this. They asked Ryan Poles yesterday on Pat McAfee, "Where do you park, bro?" And he was like, "I don't know. I have no idea." And he kind of just left.
How the hell I know? I'm not developing it. I'm not designing it. Out of here.
Yeah, I'm sticking with football. I got the football thing going. He was actually great on that show, but I'll let it go. I'll pass it on to the bishop.
No, I'm in total agreement with all three of you guys, especially with Shawn. And Shawn, you made a good point, man, with regarding to the parking. There's just absolutely no space, not enough, man. And you already had difficulty, really can't tailgate now. So where would you remotely tailgate before the games if they were to put it where they're, claiming that they want to put it? So it's all posture. They didn't invest $196 million in Arlington Heights just to sell it at a discount. So this is again a ploy to basically get the taxes lowered, and to just, besides the fact, you know what, why would the taxpayers of Chicago want to be on the hook for what would be almost $2 billion on that particular on the new stadium? And we're still, and the Chicago taxpayers are still on the hook for about 60 mil now on the 20-year-old renovations on Soldier Fields, or however long it's been with regard to
the spaceship.
Yeah. So I mean, as much as and I get it, as much as it would be great to be able to still play football off the lake, man. I think Arlington Heights is the place where it's going to end up being. And even with those renderings for off of the lake, you can do something very comparable, if not the same, in Arlington Heights, man. I mean, and get more bang for your buck out there, because now you can have more restaurants and everything attached to it and associated with it. For those of us that that live out of town, now there could be hotels and everything, very close to the stadium where we can fly in and stay and enjoy a good football game and hang out for the weekend. So in the end, I think it's going to be Arlington Heights. It'll become a cash cow for the Chicago Bears, which in all honesty, again, to what Shawn has said, why would they want to be in a joint venture with the city of Chicago? The city of Chicago, I hate to say it, and I'm going to put it out there, and you all can dislike me for saying this. They are a terrible landlord, with regard to Soldier Fields. There's still some renovations that need to be done, even just to the restrooms, man. I mean, so why would you want to be in business with the city of Chicago, who's been a terrible landlord to you? It just wouldn't make sense to me. I just think it makes a lot more business sense if you want to be a team in the 21st century to own your own stadium. And this way now you're producing revenue, additional revenue, so you can pay players.
All right.
That's
Bro,
another thing.
No, that's going in their pocket, bro.
Yeah, but no, I know that it is, because they're cheap as all outdoors, and really if they could get you to play for $15 an hour, they would. But I'm just saying, they need to be able to, at some point, man, generate enough revenue to be able to compete with some of the richer owners, man, who don't mind spending a little cake on their players.
They got the money, bro, and don't forget, there's a cap. They got the money. They've just spent it foolishly for a long time. They spent it on the wrong people. They got the money, and there's a cap that they can't go over. It's not like baseball or basketball. You know what I mean? Where you're like, I'll just spend here. You get 80 mil.
Okay, I can't help but to interject in this topic because this shit's about to make me throw up. I'm sick of it. I just want somebody to give me a call when they got shovels in the dirt and ready to start building. I don't give a damn what they're doing up until then.
No, call me when it's up. Yeah. Call me when they hit the front door with champagne.
And do one thing: bury them ugly ass socks underneath the foundation of the stadium.
No, put some cement over top of them MFs and everything. But hey, let me mention this real quick. FFG Style wants to know. He's like, hey, Nomad, what's going on with the best position battles on both sides of the ball? That's an entire show, FFG. When I say an entire show, we may have to do overtime for that one because it's going to be a hell of a conversation. We most certainly will, towards training camp, start getting more into that conversation. We may have a pre-show before training camp show because there are going to be some moving pieces in and around that space and time. But we'll definitely do that show, FFG, no question about it. But here's some other information that just came out. There's some other news and notes. So there's reportedly 2 stories going on right now, both by Chicago Tribune reporters. One of them from Big, saying the Bears are in the market for a vet D lineman, but not Yannick. And so Weirder.
Thank you, Jesus.
Hold on, Chris. Hold on.
We're gonna talk about it. Weirder has another story out saying the exact same thing, but the Bears are monitoring the progress of Yannick's ankle. And so, hate to agree with Weirder, and I had to side with Weirder. I don't believe I'm saying that, but so Chris has got a video of Yannick. If you know Yannick and you follow Yannick on Twitter, he doesn't say anything on Twitter, and I haven't heard from him the whole entire offseason. But he put this video out today, Chris.
Wait, I do have a video.
You do? You don't?
Go to the next one, and we'll have it here shortly.
And so let's just talk about it, man. So which would you believe, Shawn? Would you believe what Biggs is saying about they're not interested in Yannick, or what Wiederer is saying about they're interested in a vet D lineman and they've been in contact with Yannick Ngakoue about the progress of his ankle, and then next thing you know, there's a video that pops out there about with Yannick saying what ankle, and he's doing little drills and stuff like that. So what do you choose to believe here?
Oh, I think they talked to him. I think they talked to him. Right. And, just monitoring it. That's all. You know, just having talks and monitoring literally doesn't mean anything. All right. You watch him, and if you watch the film, you could tell he's much better coming off the broken ankle, but he's not 100%. You could tell he's still very he's ginger. You can see his steps aren't so he's not his steps are calculated when he's going around those cones. So he's not 100%, which okay, that's fine. It's just not camp. Camp's not starting today. All right, but you see some progress and you see him moving, but you still see that he does have a ways to go. So, just keep monitoring, and I believe Wiederer, as much as I hate to agree with you, Nomad, and agree with and believe Wiederer. Yeah, I think they're monitoring him and just seeing because I think they can get him. They believe they can get him on a discount. And they should. So,
Oh, my bad. I didn't know you. You can keep going if you need to, man. I didn't mean to interrupt. But Chris, we can skip you if you trying to download.
Yeah, go ahead. I have nothing to say about Yannick. But bye.
Definitely nothing positive from Chris, that's for sure. Like I say, at a discount, I would pick up the phone and hear what that discount offer sounds like. That doesn't preclude you from still going out and getting somebody a little bit better even then. All depends on the dollars and cents here. So he looked decent on that footage. Bishop, what do you think?
At a discount, yes. Just that simple. And it has to be a significant discount, because that ankle, man, we're talking about an ankle, and that guy, he needs to be able to bend, he needs to be able to get off.
Bend.
So that's really important, And but the fact that he's been in the system, he knows the system in the locker room. I get it. It pains me to agree with Wiederer, but I lean more toward Wiederer than anybody else with regard to that. So we'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, stranger things has happened.
So, I get people fussing at me, whether it's somebody on the panel or somebody in the chat. No, man, we don't need to sign another vet. Be lineman, and we don't have the money and all that kind of stuff. I get all that. I get all those conversations. But I'm going to reiterate what I think about the whole sign another vet D lineman.
But before you do that, let's show the video.
All right, let's do it.
That's obviously not the video.
I was going to say that I don't.
I'm like, where'd those guys come from?
That's the link you gave me, bro.
What the whole hell was that? I didn't see
it. It was heartwarming. It was heartwarming.
It was heartwarming. I know I didn't see
Cuddy.
That's the link I got. I'll try it again it's 8 seconds, man.
Oh, Cuddy.
Top left.
Can we have some of our money back, Cuddy?
Chris,
can we get some of that money back?
Man, it's tripping. I know I ain't sent him that. That was funny though. But here's my take on it, man. And I stand by this, man. I feel like I do yeoman's work at looking at this roster up and down and seeing the holes on it and trying to identify exactly what the problems are on this roster. I just don't want to go into the season with a couple of projects and not have the depth that we need to really perform at a high level. And so it's my estimation, and according to Wiederer and Biggs, they are looking for a vet D lineman to sign, whether it's Yannick or not. I think Yannick is not putting out that video had he not been in conversation with the Bears organization about the progress of his ankle. So I'm going to lean.
Let's try it again, man.
All right. So apparently, I think it was his right ankle. I believe that was the question mark. And
Mhm.
if you run that back again, you can see he's bending on his right side, putting his weight on his right side to show that I have no problem turning the corner on this ankle.
Yeah,
he ran
when you
around
watch
that right tackle, didn't
Yeah, but watch that. Watch his foot. When you watch his foot, you can see he's coming straight down. He's not getting a lot of force off it. All I'm saying, and I'm not saying he's not going to be ready. All I'm saying that you could tell he's still in the recovery phase. He's able to run, but you can tell he's still not at 100% because watch how his foot goes down and pounding into the dirt as opposed to pushing off and trying to gain ground. All right.
I think he's trying to show the chop on it, Sean. I think he's trying to show I can put my force down into the ground. At the very end of it, if I had to be hypercritical about it, I would say he still look a little bit gimpy coming around those last two.
Oh yeah. But I mean, like we said, camp's not today. You know what I mean? He'll be fine, and as long as he's doing some aqua therapy, which I hope he is, he'll be fine. Sure because running the water is man, that got me super duper fast when I was in grammar school and high school.
And here's another reason I think the Bears may be interested in just talking to him and monitoring him, because he's always been pretty good at taking care of his body. So he's never really had any real major injuries that kept him out for a long period of time either. And he's still relatively young. So, if he can, I mean, we just need somebody to get to the doggone quarterback, man. That's all.
Did you see that? See that at the bottom, Keith? We weren't laughing at you, Keith. Look at the bottom of the comment.
Jay Sanders said, "I need to see a full workout followed by the Casper slide." I think Sean is best to describe the Casper slide to people who don't understand that.
It's
to the right, to the left, to the left. Now slide.
Now dip, baby, dip. Come on, dip, baby, dip.
That's pretty funny, man. That's pretty funny.
Charlie Brown.
Man.
Oh shoot.
You know what? That's it. I'm glad that he put that out there, but it's still, for me and from my standpoint, it's a lot to be desired on that, and that's just me being a very critical eye. Some people on the surface, it doesn't look like anything, but he's chopping his feet well and looks okay. But if you look, the closer and closer you look at it, and the more and more you look at it, you can see what looks like he's coming up off of the weight on it at the last couple of chops, and before he runs off the screen. I don't know, but he's got a lot of time to get himself together.
Yeah, it's May 2nd.
Yeah,
it's May 2nd, 2024. Got plenty of time.
So yeah, we got that going on, man. But let's take a station ID right quick before we get into some of this talk about how this Bears offensive weapons are going to rank up against some of these past teams.
The best Chicago Bears content anywhere. Catch Nomad Live pregame 1 hour prior to kickoff, and Nomad at Night postgame, and every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Central on all the most popular streaming platforms, and only on the Nomad Network.
That is right, you guys. Let me tell you something. The intensity and anticipation for this season is only going to just get bigger and bigger, and mine is growing by the day. And this is a subject we're going to be talking about here in just a second. Is one of the big reasons why. And so, man, please, I have not seen how many likes we have, but I know we underperform every day until somebody starts reiterating. We need to hit that like button. And to all the people that have not subscribed, man, please do that for both the Nomad Network and Sports Zone Chicago. We need you. We need you. You need us. So let's help each other out, grease each other's palm, man. And everybody loves good content. So, man, show appreciation for it. Give us a sub, man. I know we're not that bad of human beings that you wouldn't sub. So it would be nice to see some bump in subscription. And just for the sake of saying, I do appreciate all, and Shawn can probably say the same thing, not probably can. We appreciate all the new subscriptions to both channels, man. We appreciate you guys. Love you guys. It's too many to shout out right now because we only got a little bit of time. But let's talk about this whole situation with this offense, man. Shawn, the anticipation for what these guys are going to be able to do is starting to simmer and bubble over.
Oh yeah,
and I think they're justified on paper. And what I can, kind of surmise in my head about what this thing can be and what it can look like, I think they have every right to feel excited about, what this team can do offensively. But what we're going to do is start stacking up what we think this team can be versus the best teams that we've seen here in Chicago offensively. It's not a whole hell of a lot of long list there. Trust me. I've been my whole life. There's only been one team that's really stood out to me as a threat to score on every given opportunity with the ball in their hands, and that was that team with Jay Cutler on. It was
2013.
Yeah. So we're gonna start. We just talk generally on the surface right quick, Shawn. Your comparisons to what we see on paper to what we did in the past. What do you think?
I think this team could be probably the most explosive, but not this year. It'll happen in 25 or 26. Because that Jay Cutler, that 2013 squad, man, we're talking Jay Cutler, we're talking Matt Forte, all right, we're talking Brandon Marshall, we're talking Alshon Jeffrey, we're talking Martellus Bennett. All right. Every single one of those guys had made the Pro Bowl at one point or another. Every single one of them.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's unfortunate that she had 7 offensive coordinators in 8 years for Cutler and that offense. That's what derailed that particular offense. But this team we got, man, DJ Moore. And I think this offense could be better. Like I said, not 2024, in 25 and 26, they could be better because of the fact that Rome Odunze won't be a rookie. Okay. Keenan Allen, I believe they're going to try and re-sign him. And if you re-sign Keenan Allen, even if it's just for 2 years, all right, or just give him an extra year, one more year, I think it'll be at least 2. Man, you got DJ Moore, you got Rome Odunze, not a rookie anymore, and you got Keenan Allen, and you got Caleb Williams, who's comfortable in the system now, and you have DeAndre Swift. Yeah, that's a heck of they win by the extra receiver, all right, and because they would lose a little bit with the running back. Because I think Matt Forte is highly underrated. I think he's maybe my 3rd all-time favorite because I never got to see Gale Sayers play. All right, so he's kind of like not in this, but Walter, I love Neil Anderson.
You know what, Shawn? I jumped the gun. Let me add to this conversation. I should have did this before I threw it to you. But let me list from 7, and you guys go to Sports Mockery. You can find this list on Sports Mockery. I forget what's that guy's name again, Shawn, that does that.
Eric Lambert.
Eric Lambert does that site. And here's a list from 7 to the number 1 Bears offenses in history. Number 7, and you guys stop me whenever you want to. Number 7, surprisingly to a lot of people, will be the 2018 offense under Nagy and Trubisky that amassed 3,600 plus yards and 27 TDs. Let me see. In 14 games. So what do you think about number 7? What sticks out to you about that team?
What sticks out is the possibility, and it seemed like it was the coming out, no pun intended, the coming out of Mitch Trubisky. Actually like getting acclimated with the system, getting acclimated with his receivers, and just being comfortable in that jersey as a quarterback of the Chicago Bears. Man, he seemed, what do you throw, 6 tutties against Tampa? Like there was that thing that got us all hyped, man. That was a good one. And then stop running, Mitch, stop running, because that's not what we do. Oh, okay.
It's a recent history, so it's still pretty fresh in everybody's mind. But I didn't know they ranked all the way down to number 7, man, because there's some other anybody else that wants to jump in on that 2018 team can, if you want to. Anybody want to speak on that, go ahead.
Well, I think that they ended up being ranked 9th overall, I think, in in total offense. And that Tampa Bay game did kind of inflate his numbers. That wasn't his highest passing total of the year, though. I think they beat Detroit. He had more yards, but he did have 6 touchdowns in the Tampa Bay game. So that was a little surprising that it was on that list, though.
So this is why we have Chris on the show today, man, because number 16 is the 1956 squad, who I have no idea who was on that team whatsoever. But Chris, if you
we'll have to bring in Brian for that one. He's much older than me. You know what? 1956. I have no memory of that. Let's look. That was Ed Brown at quarterback that year. George Blanda was on that team, though. If you guys remember Blanda? George Blanda? Yeah, Blanda was on that team.
No, we don't remember him.
But just remember him. Well,
refresh our memory.
I remember him from Oakland. Now, look, Bishop, you remember Blanda with Oakland. He was a kicker for Oakland and the emergency quarterback. But that was a team, Rick Caceres and some of those names you remember. Ed Brown was a quarterback. J.C. Caroline. He was a tough player for the Bears. So I have no actual memory of it, but some of the names I do know.
So Chris, number 5 is the 1965 offense, and the name you circled there in that offense is what?
Gale Sayers. Gale Sayers.
Gale Sayers pretty much was his team.
He had 14 touchdowns. That was a game. That was a year I think he scored 6 touchdowns against San Francisco in the mud.
In the mud. I remember that. I remember that. I remember the video, the highlights.
Yeah.
I was
Gale Sayers. Listen, guys, and I heard Shawn Sierra earlier. He never got to see him play. I did get to see him play. I was very young. Gale Sayers was special, okay? And I don't mean just Chicago Bears special. I mean all-time special. This guy, he may be next to Barry Sanders, probably the most elusive. Yeah. You had to saying 18 inches of daylight. That's all I need. And he was gone. Do yourself a favor and YouTube Gale Sayers' career highlights. You will see a football player cut short. He had devastating two knee injuries. And, of course, science wasn't where it is today. So he was never the same. He was still good even after the knee injuries, but he was robbed of his supreme physical talent.
So Chris, quick note, not to be sneezed at, whoever that quarterback was threw for 2,600 yards and 20 TDs that year.
That was Billy Wade. I'm sorry, Rudy Bukic. Billy Wade was the backup. Rudy Bukic, if you know anything about Bears, he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in Bears history.
Never heard of him.
Rudy Bukic was the quarterback, I believe, for the 63 championship team. Is that right, Brian? Brian's over there laughing at me. The year they won the championship, he was a quarterback for that team. Billy Wade and Rudy Bukic. They had a 2-headed monster back then. But they were both quarterbacks on the 63 team. Both good quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's correct, Chris. And also Johnny Morris, who is the all-time leader in receptions for the Bears, I believe, was on that 63 team. I want to say he retired in 65 or 66.
And you guys might remember Johnny Morris was a longtime broadcaster for WGN and Chicago Cubs baseball. So if you know that name, that's probably where some younger folks know it from.
Well, also for CBS, because him and Tim Ryan used to do the Bears games in the 70s as long as I could remember.
You are correct, sir.
So the team that comes in at number 4 should be no shock to anyone. And all I'm going to do is say 1985 and let you guys take off from there.
Sweetness.
Sweetness
McMahon.
Sweetness and the punky QB.
Yeah, actually,
Willie Gault.
Steve Fuller started 5 games that year.
Dennis McKinnon.
Yeah.
Dennis Gentry, another name we often forget about. Side player.
Right. Yeah.
And I want to tell you who was a very underrated running back was Thomas Sanders. I don't know if you guys remember Thomas Sanders. I know you do.
There's somebody else too, bro. It's not just Sanders.
Oh, the Bears.
Sanders the fullback?
Sanders was a halfback, but he was just a beast. He would run you completely over. He was a good player.
You talking about Matsui, the fullback?
Suey was the fullbaid.
Yeah, Suey was the Suey, and did not mind sticking his nose in there, baby. He blocked. He made many holes. He was a hell of a blocker.
Yeah, McKinnon, Emory Moorhead was a tight end.
Yes,
and Refrigerator Perry. You can't forget.
So let me throw a quick note out at you guys. I don't know if anybody knows this, but that year, McMahon-led offense broke a record with 456 points scored. Stands today with 3,300 yards in the air and 17 touchdowns. So 456 points scored is a record that stands today. Did you guys know that?
No.
456. And so that's the standard. That was done in 1985 and hasn't been broken since. You think about
defense or an offense?
That was total team points.
Total team points. Okay.
Total team points.
I want to say the 85 team, that team as a whole had the largest differential. The defense allowed just under 14 points a game, and the offense averaged 27.2 or 3 points a game. And I think that's the largest, or at least top 5 largest differential between offense and defense for a team for a year.
Yeah. They rank number 1 in defensive points, number 2 in offensive points. And they won the Super Bowl.
Hey, Be Yourself is asking an interesting question. He said, Be Yourself says, what was most of those
points from the defense?
Oh,
I'm thinking,
I'm sure they put them in some advantageous spots, man, for sure.
Total points, I'm not sure. I'm trying to find it, but they did lead the league in points.
Yeah, they led the league in points, takeaways, man, you name it.
And also opposing quarterbacks messing their pants.
We'll circle back to it if you want to, Chris. But let me keep on heading on down the list because number 3 comes in. This is a team that I watched this team a lot on film, man. This was a gritty team right here. It was a 1995 offense, scored 30 points or more in one game. 30 points or more in a game, average 30 points or more in a game. 1,600 yards on the ground that year with Shawn Sierra and a guy by the name of Robert Green, who I have no idea.
Robert Green was a heck of a running back, man. He actually was a starter after he was kind of a spot starter, but he had a lot of Barry Sanders in him.
Yeah,
a lot of Barry Sanders in him. Yeah, if you can find some tape on Robert Green, the Bears have had secondary running backs that this is how great their legacy is at running back. They've had quite a few running backs that were second string that probably was started on most teams. Robert Green, I think, oh God, did he gain 1,000 yards one year? He was tough, though. I loved Robert Green. He had some Barry Sanders in him.
So Kramer threw for 3,800 yards that year and had 29 touchdowns. So they were pretty potent.
Well, and that was the first time.
3,800.
He's 38. He's still the all-time leader in single season passing yards, and it was also the first time that the Bears had 2 1,000-yard receivers.
Jeff Graham and Curtis Conway.
Yes, sir. Your good friend Curtis Conway.
Put up 29 touchdowns on him.
Yeah. So he's those magical numbers we talk about: 30 touchdowns and 4,000 yards. Eric Kramer is still the quarterback that's come closest to doing it.
Okay, so number 2 is the 1943 offense, and they gained 1,600 yards on the ground. Who was a quarterback? Sid Luckman. He threw for 2,200 yards, and he had 28 TDs. So they got to number 2. So
Luckman is still considered the greatest Bears quarterback. I mean, And let you know, the team was 8-1-1. It was a 10-game season that year, and they won a championship.
So 2,200 yards.
2,200 yards, man. They was gritty, man. But he threw for 28 touchdowns, so they was doing something right.
Well, remember, we invented the forward pass, so we're one of the first teams in the forward pass, and then we still have a 4,000-yard passer, which I'm okay with. I mean, I would like to have reached it once, but just win me some games, though, damn it. Damn. Like, I'll take 36, 38, 39, 36, 35 if we're constantly in the playoffs. But, man, we ain't even in the playoffs. We ain't even in those things yet, so might as well hit all those, insignificant things.
So here's the one everybody's going to want to talk about, because the number one team in Bears history as far as offense is concerned, and this is the benchmark, is the 2013 offense, finished as the number 2 scoring team in the league, 8th in total yards, led by Jay Cutler. The team put up 30 points 6 times in a 40-point game 3 times. But this team was absolutely, positively led by Matt Forte, who finished with almost 2,000 yards from scrimmage, 12 TDs. By the way, Alshon Jeffries had a total of 1,400 yards. And
my Alshon Jeffrey jersey right now. Just
seven TDs, 1,400 some yards, 7 TDs. Brandon Marshall, almost 1,300 yards with 12 TDs. That was a pretty potent offense, man. So
it was.
And Brandon Marshall also had 100 receptions, which we haven't done that very many times. I think.
Marty Booker.
Yeah.
Forgot about old Marty. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Marty had 2 stints with the Bears. We traded him to Miami. He was part of the Agunlai trade, and then he ended up coming back to the Bears. Had huge hands.
Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm.
So I heard.
That's the one team. I'm seriously, guys. That's the one team in my entire lifetime that I thought was an absolute threat every time they put hands on the ball offensively. And that was it was so unique that year for me, because you all know the Bears history. We terrible offensively with moving the ball through the air, man. It's been widely said, and I think Moose Muhammad said this a long time ago. Chicago is where receivers come to die. You don't want to ever come here and play receiver for this team. And it's hard to argue that. It's hard to argue that given history. The guys that stand out to you are the Marshalls, the Alshon Jeffries, the team with Eric Kramer and Curtis Conway and those types of guys. And it just seemed like every time it's like a one-off. Okay, we return to being the subpar offense that we always have been throughout history. The team is built around defense, and that's been the moniker for Chicago for years, and I hate it. Everywhere I go, I get the same conversation from people that are not from around here. They view this team that way. It's like, Chicago's a fraud offensively. They're a fraud offensively. This team is all defense, and you guys can't produce on offense. This conversation I'm leading here today, I'm willing to put my reputation on the line and say, I'm not saying that Shawn is wrong, that it might not be until 25 and 26 until this team becomes what it should be offensively. We have a rookie quarterback, but we have 2 veteran receivers, one in his prime, one at the top end of his prime, and maybe sitting there at the top of that. I don't know. He could be declining. I don't know. And we got a young, really stud receiver who I think has all the intangibles and upside to be a stud receiver. I mean, talking about Rome Odunze in particular, the more and more I watch his tape, and I have not stopped watching his tape since, I started studying him. I've been watching him throughout, the whole draft process, the whole offseason, and I'm still doing it. Rome Odunze has some elite upside, and I'm going to tell you why. Because you look at him, he's deceptive. His speed is very deceptive because he's got long strides, and before you know it, he's on top of you, and he's like, whoa, he doesn't look like he's that fast. But Rome Odunze, if he does what I think they're going to do and spend significant time with Caleb Williams and spend significant times with DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, both who I think can help him in specific ways, very specific ways. DJ can help him, very specific ways that Keenan Allen can help him. And by the time this is all said and done this year, I would not be surprised to see the Chicago Bears, and this is including Cole Kmet and the other tight end we got, Everett, the running backs that we have, the stable of running backs we have. I'm going to say this now. It wouldn't surprise me to see the Bears in the top 10 in offense at all. I would not be surprised whatsoever to see this team a top 10 offense or better. And so I don't know how you guys think about all that, but that's just how I see the whole thing.
I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. I hope that it does. What I am going to say is I'm impressed by Ryan Pohl's ability to build parity and balance and bring parity and balance to this team. The problem with that 2013 team, and if you look at the team just before it, which was the exact opposite, team just before it was defense heavy. So they cut bait, got rid of the defensive head coach, went all offense, put a whole bunch of money in the offense. And what happened was the obvious thing. The investment was no longer on defense. It was clearly on offense. Offense did well, and the defense faltered. Super simple. Look at the team before it. Team was defense heavy. All the investment was on defense. They were a defensive squad. Unfortunately, they couldn't put points on the board. Somewhat, that's just been the history of Chicago. Right now, we're at a situation where the investment is just about balanced on both sides, whether it's actually just fully financial or by way of draft capital. It's about even, right? We should see some success from the offense because they've actually actively invested in the offense, whether that's on the line, whether that's at quarterback, whether that's at wide receiver or running back or tight end, right? Like there's been valid, viable investment on that side of the ball. So we should see returns on that investment. And, I hate to say it, given the numbers by way of passing that we saw through the last few years, I kind of expect there to be a little bit of an explosion. It should be a little bit different. It should be starkly different than what we've been seeing, given the investment. So I'm excited about that across the board, guys. Like, I think we're headed for some really good times. And, one more investment on that defensive line, and now you're tipping the scales. Now scales are tipped, and teams would have to be on alert. Teams should be paying attention if they're not just worried about the offense right now.
Real quick before you go, Bishop, let me interject with this. This is a criticism of Justin that I don't know if I said enough, and I'm only doing this in comparison to what Caleb brings to the table. Now, I'm saying this in reference to someone like Tyler Scott, who had a lot of drops. And now I think the way Justin didn't have a lot of touch in the let's just say the 0 to 7 to 10 yard ratio on the little slants and the little short routes. Man, Justin put a lot of velocity on the ball, and it's difficult. Justin's got a cannon of an arm, man, and that ball shot out when he delivered that ball in short areas. And so the difference between Justin and Caleb, he throws a nice touch ball, a very nice touch ball in short areas. And so someone mentioned that Caleb was gonna unlock Tyler. I think in that way that I just described right there could be a huge benefit to Tyler Scott and the disappointments that he had, during last year, during his rookie season, because Caleb throws a better touch ball in short areas. Those quick gets off the line of scrimmage, runs a quick slant crossing pattern, just dump it off to him, lead him to the ball, and let him just grab it and run. I think will be a benefit. And I don't know who exactly said that, but I can definitely see Tyler Scott, for one, being a great benefactor to the touch balls that Caleb throws. Anybody want to speak to that?
I agree with you to a degree. I definitely agree with you with regard to Justin with his touch or lack of touch, and I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that he was also a baseball player and played second base and shortstop. So, and you kind of saw that in his throwing motion. So the velocity on his ball, was pretty. When that ball left his hand, you better have some sure hands, because it was coming in hot and hard.
I played with a quarterback like that, by the way, Bishop, man. You got to be, you got to have some great hands to deal with a quarterback that throws like that.
Yeah.
But there again, that's coaching. Because what you do, this is the thing that you do. You say, I need a dart. I don't need a rocket. I need a dart. And you throw darts and slants and ins and hitches. Those are darts. All right. You know, when it's a dig, a deep in, all right, and you're 15 yards, you're curling. That's a rocket. All right. You got to put it in between people. You got to lean back, and that's a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, if necessary, if you're putting it in between people. But those short routes need to be darts. They don't need to be cannons, and that's coaching. Because you get a lot of quarterbacks like to show off their arm, but that's where coaching comes in and says, hey, here's what I need you to do. We know you have a strong arm, okay, but you're not helping yourself because this guy can catch it and go with it. And that's 60, 70, 80 yards on your tally if you just get it to him. So again, coaching matters.
You know, and I was leading to that, Shawn, because what I was going to really say is this. Run the plays that you worked on in practice. You know, oftentimes the previous offensive coordinator would not dial up the plays that was worked on in practice for whatever reason. And I think that had a lot to do with it also, because you often saw some of the drops I looked at, some of them was based on confusion because, heck, they hadn't really run the play. There was no consistency. But, you know, that's either here or there at this point. The quarterback that we have now that's going to be under center has a great touch on the ball. But I did catch an interview with DJ Moore with relations to them already working out with each other. And he was saying that there is
hang on before you say that. We got a quick video that we want to play on that. It probably speaks directly to what you're about to say, Bishop.
Okay.
Anticipation is there. You can tell that that he's expecting us to be open at a certain time. So that's going to be one of the things that's better. But I mean, just got to be on the same page with him going forward. And it's just going to take some time. Maybe it's going to be fast, or it might take some time. But I'm hoping it's fast though.
Really quick, allow me to dissect what I think he's saying there. And so when that came out, it's a lot of people that jump right to the conclusions. Oh, he just admitted Justin don't throw with anticipation. No, it's not what he's saying at all right there. What he's saying is he just listen to it directly and take it for what it says on its face. He's saying the anticipation is there. He's expecting us to be in a certain place at a certain time. And so what he's saying, like, I'll break it down really simply in just plain old football one-on-one terms. Like, Shawn, you can attest to this. Like, let's say a 10-yard dig and when to throw a ball on a 10-yard dig may be different from this quarterback to the next. Would you agree with that, Shawn?
Yeah.
And so let's just say, for instance, Justin would throw the ball right at the stem of the dig, and the ball would come out then, right when he sees him breaking down. And let's just say Caleb, for instance, might say, well, I see you at the 7-yard mark. I'm going to let that ball go by then. So by the time you hit your stem and break down and turn, it should be right there in your face.
Get your head around, get your face around, hands around, head around, hands around.
Yeah,
hands
so
up.
So those are the things right there. And I'm so glad that they're getting into they've gotten on the field and started to get those little things, cleaned up, because that's all in the sauce, man. Those are the ingredients that you need in that sauce for that flavor to come out, man. You need to know for simple routes like a 10-yard dig when you should expect that ball to be there, and having those things cleaned up, because there's going to be stuff that goes on in the game, live action with bullets flying, and he's going to need to know when he looks at DJ and DJ looks at him and the play is being spat out and they go to the line of scrimmage and see a front and a coverage, what's he going to do with that route given this coverage? And so they're just at the very, very beginning of trying to break down how we're gonna deal with these concepts and when that ball is going to come out, the anticipation of these routes. It's a lot of nuance to it. Shawn can tell you this himself, and it's going to take time. It's going to take time. Don't expect this to come out and they be just crispy and clean and everything is coming off perfectly. It's going to be a lot of hiccups at the very beginning, but given time, somewhere 4, 5, 6, 7 games into the season, you'll see it start to generate a little bit more and get a little bit more clean. And so he was saying a lot without saying a whole lot in that piece right there.
Yeah.
So how is that him not saying that Justin Fields doesn't throw with anticipation?
What'd you say? Say it again, kids.
You started this comment by saying DJ Moore was not saying that Justin Fields doesn't throw with anticipation, and we shouldn't take the comment that way. And I'm asking you why not?
How? Okay.
Because it kind of still sounds that way, right? Like if you
just play the video, just play the video again. I'll tell you exactly.
You're reading too much into it.
Hold on. Let's play the video one more time. I'll tell you exactly.
Anticipation is there. You can tell that that he's expecting us to be open at a certain time. So that's going to be one of the things that's better. But I mean, just got to be on the same page with him going forward. And it's just going to take some time. Maybe it's going to be fast, or it might take some time. But I'm hoping it's fast though.
All he's saying there is basically the development. He's telling them what he expects from the receiver, and so that on that 10-yard dig, expect this ball at a certain point. That's all he's saying, and that's what DJ is saying. That's the anticipation he throws the ball with. It wasn't a dig at Justin, or Justin didn't throw it.
I'm not saying it's a specific dig. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, if you're looking at it, as a receiver, his job really is to compare his experience with one quarterback being the guy he just finished playing with, and the new experience.
That's not his job. No, that's not his job.
No.
Yeah, his job is to catch football. So he needs to understand where that football is going to be with this new guy. Like, you know what I mean? Or with the old guy.
It's all timing. It's all timing, kid. It's just timing. It's all it is. In an easy way of saying it, it's the timing is different between each quarterback. I don't give a damn who you're playing with.
Yeah, so hold on, guys. This is a good thing, right? What he's saying realistically is the ball is coming out sooner. So I'm expected to be someplace or make my move, and the ball should be here when I get there. That ball's coming out quicker already. And that's a great thing, guys. That's a good thing.
Sean's a coordinator. He's been a coordinator before. And the only reason I'm jumping everybody else for right now, I just want to see how Sean interpreted what he just heard from DJ real quick. See if it's anything like what I just said.
When I first heard it, I'm like, wow, is he taking a shot at Justin? But then you also have to realize that with different quarterbacks, you have different things. We talked about the release. All right. A lot of times Justin, and we talked about a lot of times Justin, as they're coming open, he would throw it because Justin likes to throw fastballs. Okay. On those digs or those things, when he's coming across the middle, and you just talked about his touch. A lot of times he waited till you're just about open, and he put it 100 miles an hour, and you get it. What Caleb has a quick release, but just because you have a quick release doesn't mean the ball's coming as fast. So my interpreter is like, okay, he wants us to be at a certain place at a certain time. He'll get the ball there at a certain place at a certain time, so we got to be there. I don't think it was a shot at Justin. At first, I thought it was like, oh, wow, that's kind of weird because he really advocated for him. All right. But then you realize, okay, I took it as, I'm going to throw it here probably right before you're open. It's not going to be 100 miles an hour like Justin. Justin waited till you're coming open because he had that arm. And I'm saying Caleb doesn't. I'm saying that's how they throw. That's the way I took it. I didn't think it was a shot at Justin. I just think the way the quarterbacks deliver the ball is different.
So overall, you believe it was about timing, and that's just the way I took it.
And here's the biggest thing is that, and Cornelius just said this, and Cornelius, you don't forget I said that often. The routes didn't match the drops. I said that often for that, and so sometimes. And you have to also remember that because people say he didn't throw in anticipation. When you throw in anticipation, everything has to be in rhythm. Everything has to be in timing. You saw him running. He had 3-step drops or 5-step drops with corner routes. You don't have 3-step drops with corner routes. It's minimum 5. probably 7. So all this in rhythm, and I mean, we're arguing different things, and unfortunately, I mean, it doesn't really matter because Justin's not here. But I just think that like there's so much wrong with what happened in the development of that young man that it just sucked, and it just sucked. And Shanewaldron is a guy I believe who's going to have the drops in tune with the routes, and we're going to make everything look better. Because I don't care how good you are if things aren't in rhythm. As a quarterback,
it's all time. Go ahead, Bishop.
Let me jump in on this. First of all, everybody's keyed in on one word, and the word was better. For a person who has a trained ear, because I'm in sales, so I'm trained to listen and pick up on certain key words. What DJ was referring to in terms of better wasn't the fact that Caleb is better than Justin or vice versa. It was that they are going to get better in knowing exactly where to be and with relations to where Caleb releases the ball and where that ball needs to be and where they need to be in order to make that catch. That's what he was referring to in regards to it would be better, because they only work together the one time, so they're getting to know one another. So with relation to what Shawn was saying,
that's good. That's a great call, Keith.
Honestly. So, everybody is always looking to just nitpick one little thing to try to say, well, this guy, we see, this is why they got rid of this guy, and this is why they got this guy. No, guys, let's bring it down, okay? It was all a matter of we're getting to know where he wants us to be in relations to his release and his throwing technique, the velocity on his ball, the anticipation. So this is all a work in progress.
And it will get better.
And it will get better. That's what he meant by that. So let's back up.
Yeah, that's not what I caught, and I'm with you there. At the end of it, he's saying that it'll either happen quickly or it'll take time. That's sort of how
if you put those together, though, then that makes sense, because it's going to get better. I hope it happens quicker than, because like Keith, you mentioned that was the first time they worked out together.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be in sync. You're not going to be in sync with what he wants. He's not going to know how you run your routes. You're not going to know how he throws the ball, how he delivers, where he wants you. He said all that, and then he says it's going to get better. Meaning, our basically our chemistry is going to get better, and I hope it gets better sooner.
Well, let me help.
And with relations to that, in terms of
hold on one second,
man. Let me throw this in there real quick, because Chris can contest to this. Being a producer and knowing how to edit and splice things, we got to also be mindful of how much of that segment did we get and how they edited it to make it seem like it was a dig.
Well,
it
wasn't that bad, guys. Like I don't think it was.
I'm just saying, but bro, I'm just saying, use your ears.
I didn't ask Chris to play this. I got this clip for Chris, not to turn it into. I'm glad we're having the conversation. I think it's worth having, but I didn't. The intention wasn't to get into the conversation of verses. You know what I'm saying?
No,
what I can say to you that I know about West Coast offense. It's all, when I say all, predicated on timing, and I mean that 110%. It's all timing. The steps, the drop steps, how many drops does a quarterback take? The timing is all important. That's number one. Number two, the landmarks. So in the timing of a West Coast offense, you have a certain amount of time to hit a landmark. And so does that quarterback have a certain amount of time for that ball to get there. It's all timing regulated. And all DJ is saying there is, we just scratching the surface. Now I know what to expect from him, and he knows what to expect from me. We just got to work on it. That's all he's saying. That's all he's saying right there. And it's absolutely true. You just now scratching the surface. You just met the kid, and you need to find out how he operates and how he seems, the routes and the STEM concepts that go with him. That's all. Yeah. It's having this conversation.
And that's all I was saying. I was just saying, let's make sure we use a trained ear in regards to what he meant. That was their first time working out together, and it was just a matter of making sure that they get better and knowing where he wants them to be and where he's anticipating them to be on certain breaks and different things. So that's it.
It's going to be different between the two quarterbacks, right? That DJ has to figure out what the difference really is going to be for him. And you know, if that anticipation is there, to me, just him saying that's key. I think that's important for everybody to understand. I think that means that Caleb's picking up on things again a little bit more quickly, and hopefully his drops are in sync by way of rhythm, just like Shawn is saying.
That's we didn't need to do that, man. They just met each other. We don't know how the hell quickly he's picking up on anything. But like AC Adam is saying right there, you know, we are a feisty bunch. The Bears fans are, man, it's about the most feisty organization. And I've been around probably every 32 team in the league. I mean, you find everybody in Atlanta. You see everybody. When I say everybody in Atlanta, I mean everybody. Every team is well represented in Atlanta. And this is about the feistiest bunch, along with the Philly fans, man. About the feist. Steeler fans are right up there too. But the fan base, man, we are some feisty, argumentative. We will scuff and fight over just about everything. And AC Adams is right. We will find anything to argue about. But it wasn't brought up to have a argument. It's just brought up to show that, you know, more than anything else, this is going to take time for Caleb Williams and that receiving core that he has. Even as explosive as we think this team can be, I would caution the optimism for at least a few games, at least a quarter of the season. So at least 4 games in, 5 games in, I wouldn't expect to see greatness. What I'm telling you now, from my experience, it's going to take time for them to really get a full understanding of how each other operates. And so that's the whole purpose for that. But that'll wrap up this conversation about DJ Moore and Justin Fields and Caleb Williams. How about let's give some pleasantries before we get ready to get out of here? Chris, you up?
I want to argue more.
Go.
No, man, listen. Hey, enjoyed everybody today. Guys, thanks for supporting the podcast. Please subscribe, like, share, and hit your notifications so you know when this great content is coming your way. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to my guys on the panel. Don't forget to support Sports Zone Chicago as well as the Nomad Network. And, hey, love you guys. Kids, do your thing.
Like, share, subscribe, Zoniacs. I'll leave the real slogan to my guy, the SuperBack, when it comes to him. Super awesome to see all of you guys in the chat representing with us. A couple of new heads out there. Who's your Heat Radio? Thanks for repping with us. Jason UK Bears. Pepe Silva. I've seen you Sylvia. Seen you a couple of times. Thanks for hanging out with us. Anybody else who was brand spanking new? Leo Factor, you're a regular. What's up, Leo? Just figured I'd give you some love. Eric Christensen, thanks for hanging out. Kenny, what up, Kenny? And Eric Harper. There's one more. Anyhow, guys, thanks for representing. I thought we had a pretty solid conversation here today, all over the map. Bishop, what do you got to say, brother?
Once again, I just want to thank everybody, the No Maniacs and Sports Zoners, for hanging out with us today. Again, a little past an hour. You guys are amazing. Thank you for hanging out with us. I don't have much to say this evening, you know, as we get ready to depart from the show, other than, you know, like earlier today, what I shared with you guys. I just want to make sure that if you have somebody in your life that you love, make sure that you reach out to them and touch base and let them know that you care about them. Remember, we're not guaranteed tomorrow, you guys. And this young man that I lost was 56 years of age. So I say that to say this, man. Take care of yourselves, eat right, get plenty of activity. You know, your body is set up to purge. So if you whatever you eat, if you work out properly and do the things necessary, you can lead a healthy life and a long life. So I say that to just say I love everybody that, you know, on the panel, everybody in the chat, everybody that's listening. Thank you very much. I appreciate the love and support as well. I do appreciate it. By the way, I won't see you guys tomorrow. I got some things going on, but I'll be back in on Monday. But hey, guys, just take care of yourselves, all right? Love each and every one of you guys, and peace out. Shawn, to you,
Sports owners and No Maniacs Unite. Great show. I'm excited. Make sure you follow Sports Zone Chicago's YouTube page. Make sure you follow the Nomad Network's YouTube page. And it's beautiful out here in Shy. Looks like it might rain. Oh well, but you know what? It's still beautiful. The fact that we open our eyes to see this makes it a beautiful day. Enjoy it. It's gonna be nice the next couple of days. Get out there, Cinco de Mayo on Sunday. So get your day drink on. So you're done by 6 o'clock. 12 to 6 is all you need. 12 to 6 is all you need, baby. And then we'll be ready to go back to work on Monday. But back to the Bears. I'm excited for where they're going. I'm excited for what's being constructed here by Ryan Poles, and it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be real fun, especially being able to cover the team and getting up to Hallis. I'm trying to get up to Hallis a couple times during OTAs, being at the home games and things like that. I've been fortunate to be able to get to in the press box with those guys in the press room. It's going to be fun covering this team, watching this team, and let's just sit back and relax and enjoy the ride. We can speculate all we want. All right, the people who are pro Caleb are going to say it one way. Oh, Justin sucks. The people who are pro Justin are going to say it another way. We don't know exactly what DJ Moore meant. You're only speculating. All right, just like we are. All right, so let Justin do his thing. Okay, kick returner or not, and let's just bear down. That's all I got to say. Bear down. Nomad.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, man.
I'm sorry, Nomad. My bad. And you know what? It escaped me, and because I got so much on my head today, I want to send a special shout out to a special lady. Today is her birthday, Miss Valoria Mitz. Happy birthday, love. Enjoy your special day. All right, go ahead, Nomad.
Good vibes to Keith and his family or friend. I can't remember which one you said, man. But
he's
good
both,
vibes.
brother. He's both.
Good vibes to him and your family and his family, man. Good vibes to him, man. But this would this be a Nomad Network show if it didn't have a little hot sauce on the side added to the wouldn't be right. It's always going to be. We allow people to come to this show and have heated, spirited debates, whether you agree, disagree about anything that's going on coming out of these panelists' mouths. It doesn't matter. You come here and be spirited and enjoy the conversation. So long as we're respectful to each other about the conversation, I absolutely have no problems with it. It only becomes a problem with me when it becomes disrespectful. And I didn't see disrespect in the chat, and I appreciate that from you guys out there that's a part of this show right now. I love you guys for keeping that standard for us over here at the Nomad Network. That's what we intend to do. Have those spirited debates with all the hot sauce, Louisiana, Tabasco you can put on it, because you can do that respectfully without calling names and talking crazy to people. You can absolutely do that. The people that allow these things to go on in their podcast, to me, I feel like that's unnecessary, and they probably ought to do a better job of cleaning up their chat rooms and stuff like that, because I ain't having it over here. And so long as we can keep it respectful, man, I have no problem with people disagreeing with anything I say, and I'm sure the other guys, the co-hosts, don't have any problem with it either. You're being respectful for it, and we appreciate you guys for upholding that standard and keeping it funky that way. So I love you guys for that, and I want you to understand that in your heart. I do love and appreciate you guys for being that way for us in the chat, man. But with that being said, man, we got to get out of here, but I got to leave you guys with these famous words: love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.
Bear down,
y'all.
y'all.
Shy City, stand up. Yay, yay.
Boom.